I'm Mark from Dark Forest Bushcraft. In this series, I'll be starting with an introduction to bushcraft by showing you the way I see the landscape through a bushcraft perspective. You'll find that once you have immersed yourself in the world of bushcraft, you'll never look at it the same way again. You'll see and start noticing that everything in nature has its place. You'll discover that we are part of it and never above it.
To struggle to be free from our ground. The evening mists that creep and crawl will drench me in blue. It's so drowned.
Right, so let's go through my kit, right? This is what I usually carry on a scouting, not for general camping but this is generally if I'm just going to go out the door for 2 minutes to go for a walk. I may want to see certain opportunities. That's why I carry these sort of things on me. First off, I'm going to show you is the Webtex survival knife. Now, this is multifunctional. That's why I carry it, because one, it's a cutting knife, cutting edge. 2, it has a torch. 3, it has a ferricium rod on it, which will throw off sparks for enable me to create fire, and also a survival whistle as well. So if I do get stuck in a situation that I've gone into an unfamiliar territory, I can signal for help. So that's why I carry this one, and it goes neatly on my belt like that. So no fuss, out the way. Second item is a backhoe Laplander. Now I carry this whether I'm bushcrafting, camping or scouting, because it comes in very useful because it's a folding saw. This can be used to either do a bit of maintenance because there's on the trail perhaps some branches are coming over because there's been high winds, say. I can saw them out the way, do the community a favour, clean up the footpaths, things like that, and I can use the wood as well. So if any sort of wood I want to get from, say, like a hazel for instance, for tapping a birch tree, I could do that, as long as it's sustainably done, that's fine. That's why I carry a folding saw around with me, even on a scout, because you never know. Because I'd like to, sometimes I like to seize opportunities, basically. And the next is a new addition to my kit, which is a multi-tool. Now, this is again a multifunctional item. It has a pair of pliers. It also has secondary cutting devices, which locks, which you have to release. It has a saw, which comes in useful for making arrow nocks, because this is smaller than my backhoe, so it's ideal for making nocks for arrows if I choose to make arrows in the field. And also I've got files and all sorts of other little bits and pieces there. So yeah, so it's quite a decent multi-tool. It's the Leatherman rebar multi-tool. And again, this has a leather pouch, just fits right in on my belt, and that just goes away. Okay, the next on my list, I would say, is a notepad. Notepad and pencil. Basically, what I've done is I've got a notepad with plastic bits on top of it so it keeps the rain out. It's only going to need it to be splash proof because it's either in my bag or my pocket anyway. So, and a pencil will write in the rain, as well as so see things down, jot them down, do a quick a sketch of something that I've found, perhaps if I haven't got a camera on me. It's just general field notes basically, and pencil I've just basically broken in three and just sharpen with my knife because in the field I'll be sharpening it with a knife anyway. So, and that just goes neatly in there and goes away. The other items on my list are field guides. This is because I've got a crap memory. And I mean a really rubbish memory. I mean, I can remember some things, but some things I'll need confirmation on. So if I see something, I think that's the plant that I want, or the plant that I'm after, or I think this is this plant, I'll confirm it with this one. Usually, 9 times out of 10 I'm right, and I usually do find the plant that I want, and I know what it is. But sometimes I'll think, oh, is that edible? Is that not? Then I'll consult this, because it's a handy pocket guide. It's a Collins Gem Food for Free. And the same again with mushrooms. Mushrooms again, there's a key to follow in the beginning of the book, which tells you how to correctly identify edible mushrooms, and it also lists the poisonous ones as well, so that gives you a bit of a but I would only use this one because it's got photos. I would only use this one as a verification tool, because I do know what some funguses are, and sometimes I will need to think, well, am I sure what this is? Then I'll look it up and go, yeah, that's what I think it is, and then I'll carry on my merry way. If I think, I don't know if it's this or it might be that, then I'd probably take a sample at home, dissect it, take spore prints, and then examine it further at home where I've got better reference books. So I wouldn't say these are definitive, I'd just say they're useful as a field guide. So yeah, that's why I carry those, and the pocket size, which is great. And also, I've got a canvas bag that this all just fits into. Literally, just goes straight in. It's just a regular cotton canvas bag. It's not really that special, really. It's just got a pocket in the front that'll hold all my knives. I've carried a wool blanket in this, plus pots, and I've got side pockets as well where I'll carry first aid kit, things like that. Just but like I said, this is a scout. This is a scout at the moment, so I really haven't got much other than my lunch that was in here. That was about it, pretty much. And the reason why I carry this on a scout is because A, it's small, and B, if I see something I want to collect, I've got a bag to put it in. Right, okay, this last item I want to mention is a compass. This is just a silver style compass with map orientation markings and what have you, so you can bisect your distance, magnifying glass. The only thing this doesn't have is an inclinometer, which I'm going to purchase at some point, a better compass. I've also put range beads on these. Basically they measure my pace count. At the moment, where I am, I know exactly where I am. I know where I'm going. I know this place like the back of my hand because I grew up around this area. So I don't necessarily need a compass around this area, but I just thought I'd shoot it in this video just to hammer home that if you are doing a scout, you're most likely going to be in unfamiliar territory. So you'll need a map and a compass, just so that you don't get lost. So again, that's why I carry one of those. When I'm in unfamiliar territory, I'd carry one of those. It just goes around my neck, and away we go. Or I can just put it back in my bag, whichever. It's just that easy. It's just that simple. Okay, as we start the trail, it is important to know the little subtleties that pop up everywhere. Like, for instance, new growth of brambles. Now, I've got a little cold myself, and I've been picking the young leaves. It's the little ones like that, just a handful, and leaving them dry in my drawer at work. And I just sip on that make a cup every hour, and then it helps alleviate your cold symptoms. It's great. It gives us blackberries in the autumn, late summer months. You can also make cordage out of it, but that will be another video, which I'll upload soon. Okay, so as it's early spring, you can see I'm over here. We've got bluebells arriving. They haven't flowered yet, and there's the first spring bee. Well, probably not the first, but one of the first. This is my old friend sphagnum moss. Now, this can be pulled off just like that. I mean, if you wash, this is the root area, so if you just wash that, so you get all the particulate matter and dirt out, this can act as a very good filter. The sphagnum moss itself absorbs up to 10 times its own weight in water. It's also been found to hold flint tools and things like that from our ancestors. So not only has it been a useful resource to absorb things, and you can also use this to stop wounds. I've stopped many wounds on this myself when I've cut myself. I'll show you pictures of those. A little bit of sphagnum moss did a lot more for me than a load of plasters in my first aid kit did, to be quite honest, which is quite amazing. But it also has antiseptic properties. They also used this in World War II as a field dressing when they ran out. And because of its mild antiseptic properties and its absorbent qualities, it was a great poultice, for lack of a better word. But yeah, it's great stuff, absolutely fantastic stuff. Like I said, you can pull it off in carpets like this, and it's like I said, you can use it as a filter, and it'll disinfect your water. So if this combined with a charcoal and peat style filter, and the resulting water would be cloudy, but it would be safe, 100% safe to drink because you've already disinfected it with. Excellent use as a primitive filter, absolutely excellent qualities for this, and also a wound dressing. Further up the path we see these are last year's nettles. Now, as you can see, it has been raining. It's only just drying out. This has been sodden, but this has been raining on and off for the past couple of hours. I've been trying to get up here, but everything's all wet. But these will only be damp, and these, when combined with flash tinders like dandelion heads, the fluffy dandelion heads, cattail, cottonwool, all sorts of things that will combust on a flash of a flint steel or ferricium rod. Once that catches and these get hard enough, these will burn quite fast and quite hot, and they will leave good embers for a while, for long enough for, if you've got a group of them, if you've got a handful, 2 handfuls I should say, of this stuff, and you could get a fire going pretty quickly with these. They're a really good resource. Like I said, these are dead nettles. These are what died back, and in fact, harvesting them is actually helping them grow back. So you've got a plentiful resource all year round. Okay, so as I look, I go from right to left, but I'm not just getting up here or up there, but you can find different trees that will give you certain medicinal qualities this time of the year, or certain foods depending on the time of the year, but mostly not. But also to look at the ground, because obviously that's where everything likes to grow. So here we have nettles, mostly associated with stings and rashes, and generally thought of as a nasty little plant. Not to me. This is a wondrous plant. This, if we take the nettle tops here, I won't take them with my bare hands obviously, that would just be foolish because I'll only get stung. But if you take the nettle tops here, it encourages it to grow. So we're harvesting the nettle tops to make nettle tea. This will give us a nice spring tonic. And this spring tonic will aid us in any vitamins that we may have lost throughout the winter if we were living in the woods 24/7. It's great, like I said, for colds, flu, sore throats. It's a great winter tonic to replenish you after a long, hard winter. And also hiding in amongst the nettles, if I can just get there without being stung, is more commonly known as goosegrass. This is more commonly known as goosegrass or sticky weed. For the simple reason is because it sticks to your clothing. It's got tiny little hooks. Now the uses of this plant again are quite, there's quite a lot of uses for this plant, because the reason why it sticks is because there's little hooks. And my camera's not good enough to show you those little hooks, but if you go and harvest some, you'll be able to feel it and see it for yourself if you look up close. There's little tiny hooks. Now, a bunch of these, again, can be used as a filter to strain off, they used to use it to strain off milk. And like I said, for big particulate matter, this stuff is great because it hooks onto it and it's brilliant. Now, if you combine this with sphagnum moss, you've got an excellent filter there. As well as, but if you want, like I said, if you wanted to purify water, you'd obviously you'd have the sphagnum moss, this, and then a pile of charcoal and peat. And then another wad of sphagnum moss on top of it to keep it all compact and still, and so it all filters through properly. But yeah, again, excellent. And this also has medicinal properties as well. So yeah, it's a great plant. Okay, so again, further on the trail, looking from right to left, you can see more brambles. But if we go along here, there they are. Okay, now these again are bramble-like. Red currants and black currants kind of look the same, but I happen to know from harvesting in the year that these are indeed black currants. Harvested them last year after I found them. I'm not sure how they got here, but I'm glad they did. But I mean, as you can see, the potential for blackberries here in the summer, late summer, autumn months, it's quite huge, providing the bee population is good. Now, this may not look much, but to a bushcrafter's eye, this is a gold mine. This is opportunity to make fire. These grasses here have been standing in the wind down this path here, and it also has dead nettles, and if you listen to that, that's a sound of good fire. That means all this is going to be dry. This is where your mentality should kick in here. So, right, I need to collect this so I can start a fire. Of course, there are many ways to start a fire, but if you can come with the easiest solution you just walk upon, then obviously you take it. It's had the sun on it, it's had the wind, it's dried it all out. Brilliant, let's harvest this. Right, so I've collected a nice handful of grass. This will have to be processed, but again, like I said, it's readily available, it's dry, and I've actually picked some that's a bit damp, which is around here. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to body dry it by sticking it in my pocket. There's a bit of root there I don't want, that's going to complicate things. Right. Okay, not that pocket, obviously not big enough. I have to put it in my cargo pocket there. Okay, this as I'm walking it's known as body drying. Okay,
So now obviously I'm going to collect some of these. Again, they've been in the sun. Ow. Again, be careful of the brambles. Hawthorns. Quite tasty this time of year. As I get older, they don't taste very nice. But it does complement a good salad, and they usually lose the nutritional value as I get older. So it's best to pick them when they're as young as this. See, as spring emerges, you can see a lot of life emerging. Some things you can take advantage of, like the nettles, birch sap, hawthorn leaves. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty around if you know where to look. And there's also dock as well, which has again medicinal values. This is an apple tree. Now, if this happens to be pollinated by another apple tree, great, it'll give good apples, but if it isn't, it'll give sour apples. But I like the sour taste anyway. But these aren't crab apples. This is actually an actual cultivated apple. As you can see, it's starting to bud now. But again, to an untrained eye, can't really see much. It's just a tree. But to a bushcraft eye, that's autumn food, that is. But there we go. This is a silver birch, and as you can see, this one's also a silver birch. Notice the fishes in the bark. This means this happens when the tree gets quite old. So if you look up to the top, you can see the silvery bark all up the tree. It's quite a pretty tree. It's you can extract oils from it, you can extract resins from it, a nice plastic resin that makes really good glue, and also the bark itself can also be used as tinder to light fires. It can also be used as you can also strip big strips off it, as long as you don't damage the inner bark, to create vessels for containing water, or anything you wish to contain. Like you can even cut it into strips and weave baskets out of it. It's such a versatile material. It's one of my favourite trees. So I just thought I'd better show you that one. So as we go along the trail, you can see where the squirrels have been about hiding their nuts, the berries. If I go over here, there's a little hole there. That's where they dig a little hole, shove the stuff in, move on to something else. As you can see, here. So there's your definite animal science. Okay, so if we just move on. This is a Scots pine tree. Now, so the pine cones can stay on the tree for quite a long time. These are quite small. You can eat the pine seeds inside the pine cone by heating them over a fire, wrapping them in whichever, so they open up in the heat. You can collect the seeds that way, but with these ones, they're so tiny, it's really hardly worth the effort, to be quite honest. But they are still edible. When the tree is damaged, it oozes a resin or sap, more accurately, which is a sticky substance that protects the tree. It's antifungal, antibacterial, so it makes a very good wound dressing as well if you get cut. And because it's sticky, it can help close a wound as well. So this has lots of uses as well. So this is another one of my favourites. And it's also deep in the roots. There's all sorts of resin inside the roots, and you can use that for getting pine tar out of, or just processing it for fat wood, which is basically the resinous part of the wood. That's why it's called fat wood. Right, okay, so let's carry on. Notice how I'm scanning right to left. And this is another way to reprogram your brain to actually look out for signs, look out for things that look out of place to help you discover more things. So if we just carry on. As you can see, more activity here. Could possibly be badgers as well as squirrels, because there's big tufts of earth being moved. So it could be badgers as well, badger activity. Right, okay. During early spring, it's good to try and spot seasonal delicacies when you can. Because if we come down here, we can see all sorts of plants growing here amongst the growth here. These could be pig nuts. The reason why I say could is because we haven't dug them up yet. So let's see, no, that's not strong enough. We need to find a stick that's not going to break on us. Just a digging stick, you know, just to fashion a digging stick. Just get out the knife. That's no good. No, that's not good either. You don't want something too dead. You want something dead but not too dead. Just say, yeah, that'll do. Because I mean, it could be cow parsley. It could be it could be water hemlock. So this is why I'm getting the digging stick, because if it is a pig nut, which I will think it is, it should have a bulbous root bulb, like kind of like a potato. It's a root bulb sort of thing. So I'll take one. And now this is a delicate process, you see, because these are very, very delicate. Because what happens is the root will go into the root ball and then turn at 90-degree angle, and it's very, very thin. But if it isn't, it won't do that. So we've got to be very gentle, which is why I prefer not to use a trowel or anything like this. I'd rather fashion a digging stick and dig down under it and try and lever it up a bit, try and loosen up the dirt. But like I said, if it's not a pig nut, because it does have similar leaves to begin with, then we will find a bulbous root. If the root looks like a carrot, then we know it's not a pig nut. So if we dig down further, again being very, very careful. Aha! Yes, it's a pig nut. There it is. See, that's how delicate it is. That's how delicate it is. Because it grows in the ground like that. It's very, very delicate. It's a nice spring delicacy because it's, you just pick off the dirt, pretty much. There you go, pig nut. They do grow bigger than this. They grow to the size of a golf ball sometimes. But you just peel off the edge, like that. Peel off the edge, off the skin. You don't have to peel off the skin, but I do. And then, great. Tastes a bit peppery. Hi, thanks for joining me on this introduction to bushcraft in the springtime. I'll be out with more videos soon. If you hit subscribe, you'll be able to be updated on the videos I'll be releasing in relation to this video. And thanks for watching, and I'll be with you real soon. Thanks guys.